Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm playing for the first time ever with Kaleidos. This is the Glowing Iris palette, and I was really excited to play with it because I had seen so many beautiful reels on Instagram using Kaleidos shadows, and I just wanted to see how they performed. I did bring in a little bit of Blend Bunny to help finish off this look. Obviously, this is not from Purple Quad. I'm also chatting a bit about the rest of the summer, some plans that my family has, things that I'm focusing on as we move towards the school year, and I'd love to hear about yours as well. A few videos back, I shared with you guys that somebody had given me a handful of palettes, and I've been slowly working through them, just playing with all the beautiful new colors in my collection. So the next new one that I'm going to play with is the Kaleidos Glowing Iris palette. This is a quad, obviously monochromatic purples, but I really wanted to try Kaleidos. They look to have a great formula, they are well reviewed, and the shimmers are so sparkly. And I do love a good sparkly shimmer. So I've pulled this one out to play with today, but it's not as varied as I personally would like. I wish that this were more pastel and this were more deep. That would give me better range of depth between the three mattes and then of course the shimmer. So I decided to pull in my Sickly Sweet palette from Blend Bunny only because this is going to give me whatever pastel options I want. It also gives me deepening shades. Now I could choose a dark purple, or I could choose a different dark color if I wanted to maybe go with brown or like a deep navy-ish sort of color, green, you know. It gives me some more choices. So I do I do plan on using this palette, possibly all the shades in it, but I think I'm gonna have to supplement with something a bit more varied. So that's the plan. I have primed my eyes with the Glam Light Icing Primer. If you're curious what I'm wearing on my lips, I have this from Italia Deluxe, the liner 1039 Burgundy, and then I'm wearing my NYX Smooth Whip in the shade Fuzzy Slippers. I really like this formula. It's just a matte lip color. It's not super thick, it's not super dry. It is quite pigmented. My favorite shade is Latte Foam, but I just decided to go for purple today. Anyway, my eyes are primed with the Glam Light Icing Primer. As usual, everything I'm using is mentioned and almost always linked, if possible, down in the description box, so check that out if you're curious. One of the tests of a shadow's quality is to see how it builds upon itself and other colors. So I think I'm going to go light to dark with this and then bring in the supplemental palette as needed. But these shades are not named, so I'm going to start light, medium, and then darker medium. I hope my microphone is working today. I had some trouble with it in my last video, the last one that I filmed. I'm not sure whether this is going up in the schedule, but the last one that I filmed, my microphone was weirdly buzzy, and I didn't know if it was the ring light because the microphone is in a holder and then the ring light is behind it. I didn't know if it was the ring light or if it was the microphone itself or the receiver. Not sure. Hopefully, I did do a test run before I started filming just now, so hopefully you guys are not having any problems. Maybe it was just a one-off and won't happen again. Cleaning off this brush, I'm just going to soften. There's no lighter pastel in this palette, so I can't go lighter. All I can do is try to remove and or disperse the product. I'm not sure if my lip color matches, or my earrings for that matter. Sometimes everything works out beautifully and sometimes it doesn't. I can always take them off. Now let's try this more mid-tone shade and see how it builds. Some formulas build like a dream. Blend Bunny is one such. Uden's Eye, my favorite formulas. Sydney Grace, Gourmand Girls does a good job of blending too. But other formulas not so much. Like Beauty Bay. Beauty Bay does not build nicely. You have to start with the darkest shade and work out from there. Now, it's all well and good if that's the technique you like. Actually, it is the technique that I prefer. I tend to start with the darkest or second to darkest, put it down, buff it out, and then deepen it. That's usually what I do. But I don't like to have to do that. And with Beauty Bay, you have to start dark and then work lighter and lighter from there. It's a good formula. It's just, you have to know what you're getting into and how to work with it to get the best result. Otherwise, you'll get patchiness and frustration. And now, this darkest shade, which, I mean, the shades are all different. You can even see on my eye, they're different. And by the way, building quite fine. But in my humble opinion, they're a little close. I would have liked a bit more variety in them. That's nice though. Do you guys have plans for the summer? I know we're like halfway through the summer at this point. I'm already starting to think about the next school year. I'm taking the shimmer now on a flat brush, and I think I'll put it on dry, just see how it performs, and then I might spray it. We just did a VBS at our church, and that had me occupied for the previous month or so because I was in charge of crafts, and there was a lot of work to do in advance to get ready for just a 15-minute time with a group of 15 to 25 kids. Everything needs to be done ahead of time. All the cutting and all the crayon shavings and wax paper bits and little felt crosses and stars. Everything had to be done ahead of time. There were a few things that could be done day of, but they couldn't be too time intensive and they couldn't be too difficult for the younger kids because we only had so many people who were there to help. You got 4 helpers for a group of 30 young kids. Let's not give everyone scissors. Lovely, and yes, it is very sparkly. Just out of curiosity, I'll try this shimmer with my finger. Finger? I just said finger. You know, this I think is one of the times where the finger doesn't seem to make it more sparkly. Maybe a little bit, but not as much as I was expecting. Okay, now I'm gonna grab, that was all 4 shades in the quad. So now I'm gonna grab Sickly Sweet and see what we can do to spice this up a little bit because, ooh, it's pretty, but I want it to be really interesting. I really want to dive into this green matte. I'm torn. My eyes first went to the yellows to tie into my earrings, which I think I should take off, but my daughter thinks I should leave on. I feel like I got too many colors happening. Anyway, I thought, well, if I bring yellow into the look, then that kind of ties into the earrings. Then I saw this green and I thought, ooh. And then I saw this blue-green and I thought that would work really well with my shirt. I think I'm gonna go with the green. It's called Fake It. Anyway, so now that VBS is over, I can start focusing on other things. I have to get back to my art business. I have a standing order with one of my customers. They get a certain number of greeting cards every month that are watercolor and calligraphy. And I did May and June at the same time because I was packing to move. Well, now we're moved and now I owe her July. And July is, look at this map. July is sneaking away from me, so I need to do that. And then I am also needing to start focusing on the coming school year. My daughter's entering 7th grade and we're entering a new level, new program within our homeschool group. And that is going to require some planning ahead, like, okay, what books do we need? Start ordering the books we need, seeing what I have on my bookshelf as far as reading material and what I need to get, just general school supplies. And then also I'm tutoring at the homeschool group this year. So I need to start mentally preparing for that. And I did all my training for that. I did the training that I could do to date. But I need to get my own self in gear and preparing myself for what the school year is going to be, because it's also going to be a little bit of a challenge with the 2 little ones. Now, they're both going to be in nursery this semester. So my day there will actually be easier, except for like the lunch hour. But there's also getting them out of the house, which is always a challenge. I like that green. And the green with the purple is really fun. I'll take a little bit of the sprinkle shade just to bridge the gap from that green matte into the purple sparkle. I do want to deepen just a little bit more in the outer corner here, so I will pick up Cry if I want to and mix it with Gloom and Doom and just put them here. Again, this is now the 4th shade that's built in this outer corner, the 4th matte, 3 of which are from the same brand. Now I can't give Kaleidos a hard time if a different formula doesn't build on top of theirs. But now I've got 5 and 6. This is 6 mattes in the outer corner here to bring in some depth. Let me do the lower lash line. I'm seeing a little bit of something right up here. I don't think it's the shadows. It might be like hairs that haven't been plucked in that area, or it might be just inconsistencies or texture in my skin. I don't think it's the shadows. But let me do the lower lash line and try to tie everything together. Back into Fake It. Now I'm laying down that lighter of the 3 in the quad. So you have to tell me if you have plans for the rest of the summer. Have you done anything with your kids? Have you done anything for your kids? Did you send them away? My husband and I are going away for our anniversary. I think it's next week. I should probably look at my calendar. Our anniversary was actually almost a month ago, but when that was happening, we were doing VBS and like preparing for VBS and moving at the same time. So we just decided to hold off a little while and do something later, a few weeks later. So that is now coming up. And I think that we're gonna send the kids to a babysitter and go, it's out of town. It's just within, I think, 2 hours or so, there's a larger city that's a little bit more touristy, and they have lots of attractions and better restaurants. And it's not that where we live doesn't have those things, but we've never been to that part of the state, so we thought we would go there. I've heard that there's a canal there, and I love to be on the water, so maybe we could paddle boat or something. Okay, so looking at that outer area, it's not the shadows at all. It's just a matter of me getting the blend right. It might have had some oil residue that didn't get covered with the primer, or maybe, again, texture or unplucked hairs or whatever. Because the shadows look fine. They're really pigmented. I'm gonna go off camera and do the other side. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'll admit it. The lip color was beautiful, but when I had the lips and the ears and the eyes and even my nail polish and the shirt and everything going all together, it was just too much. So I took off the earrings, and that was a bit better. Then I wiped off the lip color and replaced it with, like I said, my favorite, the Latte Foam shade. And I like the eyes a lot better now that they're not competing with everything else. It's still quite pigmented, obviously, but it's different. It's more grounded. And when the lips are grounded, the eyes can really stand out, and vice versa. Anyway, so I changed that. I did use the same liner, but then I just put the Latte Foam instead of the other color. I have black in my waterline on my eyes, and I just put on some mascara, and that's it. That's it. On my face, I took the Festival palette from Juvia's Place. I've been using this as a face palette because blush, 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 highlighter, highlighter. Today I used this one. I actually really like it. I think that peach blush might be the best color for my skin tone, especially because I don't do like foundation and stuff, so I'm not covering my own skin tone and differences in colors and, you know, blotchy complexion or whatever. I'm not covering that. So when I put pink or red on my face, it just emphasizes it more, I think. Whereas when I put peach on as a little blush, and I don't do a lot of blush, just a little bit when I want to, but when I use peach, it de-emphasizes the redness of an uneven skin tone. And I just really like the way that peach blush sits on my skin. So this one, I wasn't totally sure if it would work, but it worked. Maybe you guys can see it. I think it's lovely. It's just quiet, subtle, really, really pretty. So that's what I have on my face, and that is everything. I don't have a highlighter or anything else. Remember to check my description box if you want to see specific things listed out. I will make sure that I include all of the lip colors I used today, even though I changed my mind halfway through. Okay, so as far as the palettes, Sickly Sweet, we know how I feel about Sickly Sweet. This one, I do like the colors. This was my favorite shade of the 4. This was absolutely beautiful. Everything blended and built quite nicely, especially building. Like, I have 6 mattes in my outer corner, 2 of which are from a different brand. No problems at all. As I mentioned before, anything that I was having up here was probably just a few hairs or texture in my skin. I don't think it was the shadows at all. I will say, I'm gonna say that this is not my favorite eyeshadow formula based on first impression. I think it might overblend more than I prefer. Kind of like Sigma. Great quality, but just a little bit too easy to move around. I prefer a matte especially that's a bit more grippy, more like you put it down and it basically stays in that spot and then you just soften it. I think that that's the easiest for controlling your shape so it doesn't go wild or too far or, you know, untamed. I prefer a slightly more grippy matte. These are still very nice, and the shimmer was beautiful. It didn't strike me as particularly special among all the other indie shimmers that we have now, but it was nice. I think, of course, it stands out against other high-ends or comparably priced products that are not within the indie market. It's lovely. I don't have any problems with it. Again, I knew which one I liked the best. I do wish that there was a bit more variety in lightness and depth, but on the whole, really fun, really pretty, and I like the look. I hope that you guys will tell me in the comments what you think, of course, but also tell me about your summer plans. I'd love to talk to you about what's been going on the last several weeks and what you've got coming. Are you traveling? Are you and your family going camping? Are you and your kids going somewhere? Do you send the kids to summer camp? Tell me what's happening, because it's fun to talk to you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time. I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing before you go if you want to see more content like this. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.